Story 1: The benefits of working out. My father started working out in his 40s. Nothing extreme, just consistent. He is now 87 and remains in great health. His doctors credit his regular self-care for his well-being. On the flip side, he has had to deal with a lot of loss, including my mother. Story 2: Finding hobbies and interests is more important than you think. Story 3: Lack of physical activity is a major factor. Just because you are not overweight does not mean you do not need regular exercise. The benefits go far beyond weight loss. Exercise maintains the health of your bones and joints and supports many internal organ systems. Current research shows it even helps preserve the telomeres on your chromosomes, effectively slowing the aging process. Story 4: If you have not figured out a balanced diet and exercise routine by the time you are 40, you will begin to experience negative impacts on your quality of life. Story 5: Not wearing ear protection at concerts can cause hearing damage. Having tinnitus is unpleasant. Story 6: Neglecting your dental health is a bad idea. I stopped going to the dentist when my family stopped forcing me, and that decision affected me for years. Could have been much worse. Story 7: Some people are made of titanium, some are not. There is no way to know which is which. My friend's father was a cocaine addict and is very healthy at 74. I had a healthy runner friend who had a heart attack at 35. Just because one person can binge drink and be healthy at 80 does not mean you can. You might not know until it is too late. Story 8: Bad habits become harder to break and can lead to health problems for the rest of your life. Not only in catastrophic ways, but also in small ways such as joint pain or chronic aches. Stay mobile, stay healthy. Story 9: That knee injury you think you recovered from will come back to haunt you. Story 10: Not putting in the work to maintain relationships. Having friends in your 20s is accidental. Having friends from your 40s onward is a part-time job. Story 11: Stretch every day to strengthen your joints. Story 12: You stop caring so much because you have just had enough. It is very relaxing. Story 13: If you had perfect eyesight until your 40s, you may need to start wearing glasses. Story 14: Let me grab my reading glasses before I answer this question. Anyway, your vision goes to crap. Story 15: People come and go. The longer you are around, the more people will come and go. Develop a thick skin or you are in for a rough ride. Story 16: Start living a healthy lifestyle in your 20s. It will make a huge difference in your 40s. Use sun protection in your 20s, or your skin may be noticeably affected in your 40s. Work to improve yourself every day in your 20s so you can be proud of who you are in your 40s. Story 17: Genetics and health. My cholesterol skyrocketed once I turned 40. My diet did not change. It was like a light switch. Some abnormal eyebrow hairs also began growing much thicker. Story 18: Your online life leaves a traceable trail. You should be more protective of the information you share publicly. Story 19: How much your body will hate you if you do not treat it well over the next 20 years. Story 20: I don't know how much this applies, but there comes a point in life, for many it is in their 40s, when you realize that things like being famous, building a legacy, or being highly respected in your career do not matter at all. When you get there, life becomes wonderful. You stop worrying about where you are going and start enjoying what you have. It is hard to reach that point early, but at least you can look forward to it. Story 21: If you are a woman, it is probably perimenopause. We often think of menopause as a single event, not realizing it is a process that begins in our 40s. Story 22: If you are a woman, protect your bone density by starting a regular weight training routine. Story 23: Consider the health, wealth, and mental stability of your parents and grandparents. Your 20s are often the sweet spot, when the people you love are not yet seriously ill, mentally unwell, or financially ruined. By the time you reach 40, those you have always relied on may begin to rely on you. If you are lucky, you will still have two parents in good health who can take care of themselves, but you may also find yourself in your 30s and beyond caring for sick, dying, or destitute family members. Also, wear sunscreen and be kind to your knees and your back. Baz Luhrmann was not just playing. Story 24. Wear decent shoes with proper support. Most workplaces have concrete floors with nothing to cushion your feet except your shoes. Wearing poor footwear for long periods can cause joint problems in your feet, knees, hips, and back. Story 25. Take care of your teeth, knees, and back. Much of this is genetic, but 20 years of wear and tear can catch up with you in your 40s. Story 26. Don't spend too long on the toilet. Hemorrhoids are painful. Story 27. The physical consequences of sitting for 8 hours per day are significant. I can barely tie my shoes. Story 28. All those old injuries from your life, twisted knees, sprained or broken ankles, surgeries, will probably flare up again at some point. When you hurt yourself now, it often takes longer to recover. My knees are worn out from sports injuries, and my back injuries keep getting worse. Last year I sneezed, threw out my back, and was laid up for 3 days. There is a way to counter this. If you exercise, keep doing it. I stopped doing any real exercise in my late 20s. Had I continued, this might not be an issue. Story 29. Stress is especially noticeable when you reach the age where you realize that most of the things you worried about were not worth the worry. If something is causing you stress and you do not need it, walk away. What is meant to be in our lives will be one way or another. Story 30. Who you have children with matters. You can sell a house, get a divorce, move home, or work on your budget after a financial crisis. But children tie you to your co-parent forever. It is truly the most for better or worse situation, and many people enter it without thinking. To be young and full of hormones again. Story 31. The family of your significant other matters. Even if your significant other is amazing, if their family's culture is toxic, it will have a massive negative effect on your life. I know it sounds harsh, but it should be a major factor in the decision to commit to a partner. Story 32. Not saving money. Not continuing your education or learning new skills. Not challenging yourself or stepping outside your comfort zone. Story 33. Your ability to heal is greatly reduced. What was a simple cut or scrape in your 20s now takes weeks to heal, maybe longer. I used to think I had supernatural healing abilities in my youth. It turns out that was simply what young bodies are capable of. Story 34. Some of you will learn things about your parents, what they did and what they failed to do when they should have. You will realize some behaviors you thought were normal are actually toxic. You may even discover that you were abused. If I asked my 25-year-old self how disgusting my family was, I would have argued that disgusting is too harsh a word. Now disgusting is the least of it. I would start with that word and then elaborate. Story 35. The only person who cares about the size of your house or the car you drive is you. Story 36. Do not get deployed on your second combat tour. Being without legs in your 40s greatly hampers your day-to-day life. The traumatic brain injuries, post-traumatic stress disorder, concussions, spinal arthritis, and various other issues do not help either. I joined before September 11, 2001, thinking I would serve a few years and then get a civil service job. I was wrong. Story 37. Meaningful friendships become more selective, scarce, and precious. You need to actively maintain them. If you live into your 40s and beyond, you will age. It will not magically pass you or your partner. Choose a partner whose company you will enjoy as you move through the second half of life together, despite changes in both your appearances. Story 38. The sun. Oh my goodness, you are 40? Your skin is better than mine at 20. I do not wear sunscreen. Oh honey, we can tell. Story 39. A lack of stretching in youth can lead to back problems in your 40s and beyond. Yoga is beneficial for everyone. Story 40. Drinking. Even drinking moderately, 7 to 14 drinks per week, or 1 to 2 per night, literally degenerates your brain and thins your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision-making, communication, emotion regulation, and other executive functions. Note to those saying 7 to 14 drinks a week could not possibly be moderate. That is the medical standard in the United States. The point is that amounts deemed moderate by medical professionals can still seriously damage your brain and body. Story 41. Many young adults vape. I think they will regret it in their 40s, if not sooner. Story 42. Eating fast food at 2 a.m. When you are drunk is great in your 20s. In your 40s, you feel like you are having a heart attack the next day and you deal with acid reflux for the next 3 days. Story 43. Quit drinking. The sooner you stop, the happier you will be and the better your life will become. Use sunscreen. I am blonde and blue-eyed. I have used it consistently and look 10 to 15 years younger than my peers. Prioritize sleep. It is the best support for your mental health. Your parents will not be here forever, so brush off small irritations. When they are gone, you will regret moments of lost patience. Story 44. Let me tell you about second puberty. Think you have all the hair you are going to? Think again. Check your back, your ears, and your eyebrows. Thought you were done with growth spurts? You will grow again, outward instead of upward. Things will start to hurt for no reason. You will go to a doctor and say that your knee hurts. The doctor will say that it happens at your age and recommend physical therapy exercises 3 times a day. The biggest thing, though, is time. I never have enough of it. Do I even have any hobbies anymore? When was the last time I exercised? What did I do with all my time? Being an adult takes a lot of time and most of my energy. Story 45. Seriously, stay out of the sun. You're gonna feel sad when you look like Mitch McConnell before you hit 50. Story 46. Doing things in your youth has a big effect as you get older. Reckless acts like jumping off a roof to look cool can cause lasting harm. Spraining an ankle is one thing, but breaking it because you tried to copy a professional and thought it would never affect you later is foolish. I hurt when the weather changes. My ankles are very weak, and I have to wear supportive boots. My collarbone aches if I sleep wrong, and I still have to work 12-hour shifts even when my joints hurt. No pain, no gain? I would rather feel healthy than be in pain. I shouldn't have done backyard wrestling when I was younger. I call that younger version of myself a jackass. I should have listened to my father. He was a source of wisdom. Story 47. I am a 46-year-old man with extremely high arches. One day, out of nowhere, the ball of my foot began hurting badly. I thought it was a bruise, but it did not go away, so after a few months I went to a podiatrist. He said the pain was caused by the extra stress my arches put on the balls of my feet. But doctor, I told him, my feet have always been this way. He looked at me and said, you have not always been 46. Story 48. Take your mental health seriously. People, let your significant other feel their feelings. Do not try to problem solve for them. To quote my therapist, be a lighthouse. Give light, but let the storm run its course. Also, learn to recognize your feelings. Be open about them. You will be amazed how much smoother your relationships will be. Story 49. Ghosts begin speaking to you on your 40th birthday, whispering ancient secrets that haunt your dreams. Story 50. Take care of your teeth now, because they will only get grayer over time. Story 51. This is not necessarily tied to the 40s, but generally happens around that time in life. It is the gradual deterioration and eventual loss of your parents, and you becoming the matriarch or patriarch of your family. For some, the responsibility and grief are unbearable once this becomes reality. No one above you remains on the family tree. Story 52. Start saving in your 20s. Put away as much of your paycheck as possible early so you will have a nice cushion in your 40s. Story 53. You're on your own. One day you wake up and you're 40 and absolutely nobody gives a shit about you. The earlier you can handle real life, the better. The earlier you can make hard decisions without checking with someone, the better. Everyone who says it goes by quickly is not lying. One day you're the old guy in the room, and you need to be secure in being the leader because young people will look to you for answers. You need to have answers. The earlier you can be comfortable having dependence in your life, the better. It's seductive to think that your mentor, your boss, or your favorite politician will figure out all your problems and look out for your best interests. As you age, the clock ticks and you realize you need to make something happen, whether that means starting a family, committing to a skilled trade or job, buying a house or something similar. The earlier you can make those commitments and feel comfortable with them, the better. Story 54. Broken bones and torn ligaments may heal, but they often become your personal way of predicting the weather as you age. Story 55. I will only speak for myself, since I am in my 40s. That fast food meal you have once in a while, smoking or vaping, that day of intense exercise you decided to do on a whim, that night of drinking and dancing, drinking alcohol in general, even just a couple of beers, not wearing supportive shoes, all-nighters, whether they are for school, work, or play, neglecting your feelings, pushing them down for the sake of getting through the day, the week, or maintaining a relationship. Being in the habit of spending instead of saving. Story 56. Spending too much time alone on the internet instead of being out and about with in-person friends can harm your ability to relate to others. Story 57. If you do not have a proper exercise routine and the ability to cook healthy food, you are doomed to a short life and pain. Story 58. Take care of your mouth. I am 42 and about to get dentures due to childhood neglect, malnutrition, poor hygiene, and rampant drug use. Your teeth are among the most important parts of your body, and it is worst when they begin to decay and fall out. Story 59. The line between can pee and going to pee ready or not gets razor thin. Story 60. Ageism. Enjoy your youth because when you get older, companies will not hire you any longer. They can hire someone younger and more desperate to do your job for half as much. Story 61. Sun exposure without sunscreen caused melasma, brown blotches on my cheeks, which my dermatologist says resulted from too much sun when I was young. Story 62. You are not Hercules or the world's strongest person. Do not lift heavy objects to show off or because you think it is easier or quicker than getting help or using the right equipment. Back problems can develop, and you may never fully recover to your previous condition. This especially applies at work. No amount of money or job is worth being disabled for the rest of your life. Story 63. You are going to start waking up earlier and earlier in the morning, even if you went to bed late or are trying to catch up on sleep. There is not much you can do about this, so learn to embrace it and become productive in the morning. I used to hate waking up in the morning, but now I enjoy it. Story 64. The cumulative stress of working in a toxic job will harm your health and damage relationships. It will also make you regret the time you wasted on something not worth your investment. Story 65. This is the slow drip of alcoholism. You might not be a binge drinker in your 20s, which, while good, does not mean you are in the clear. I was a binge drinker and quit in my early 30s. I have been sober for more than 6 years. Now we are all approaching 40, and the people I once drank with who did not seem to have a problem because they did not get extremely intoxicated are now asking me for advice on how to quit. 2 glasses of wine a night in your 20s and 30s may not seem like a big deal, but I am seeing that it becomes 3, then a bottle, and a couple of mixed drinks, then 2 bottles, and so on. By the time they realize it is an issue, they are dependent, and the habit is so well established that they do not know how to break it. Think about it. Every night after work you get home, have a drink, then another. Do that for 15 years, and the slow drip has become a waterfall. Story 66. Neglecting your health is a serious mistake. You should perform regular maintenance on your body. If you do not take care of your vehicle, it breaks down. The same will happen to you if you do not take care of yourself. Start young and develop a consistent routine. I am 50 now, and being in good shape has saved my life multiple times. I have had many surgeries between age 21 and 49, including 6 brain surgeries, disc replacements, and cancer. You would never know it if you met me. I still work out every day, or at least I try to. Story 67. Everyone knows their parents will age and develop medical problems, but when that happens, things can take unexpected turns. Dementia, in particular, can make you feel as if you are already missing someone who is still with you. Story 68. 10 pounds of extra weight is a big deal. Reputations matter. Story 69. Take care of your skin. Sun protection is essential. Do not pick at blemishes or use harsh cleansers. Around age 40, minor scars can become more noticeable and spider veins may appear. Story 70. You will not be able to take the kinds of risks you could take in your 20s. Story 71. Noise-induced tinnitus is affecting the youngest among us. Story 72. Retirement savings. I would like to scream it to everyone. Story 73. The easiest way to get in shape is to never get out of shape. Story 74. I was told many times in my 20s how fast time goes, and I always said, yeah, whatever. Now, in my 40s, I find myself wondering where all those years went. Enjoy life. Do not rush things. Stop and take it in. Story 75. You may stop being seen as a whiz kid who is encouraged at work. 40 marks the beginning of a slow professional decline, especially for women. Story 76. People in their 20s are not prepared for having younger people claim that some experience was a foundational part of their generation when you had the same experience long before them. I am in my 40s and I get this all the time. Millennials claim they were there for the birth of the internet and then list sites like eBaum's World, Homestar Runner, and MySpace while people my age were using the internet, making memes, and getting into stupid arguments before the web existed. It will happen to you. Your experiences will be discounted by younger generations because every generation thinks it invented the wheel. Generation X is just as guilty of this as anyone before or after, so do not think we are innocent. We like to think our generation has a monopoly on being disaffected, but try telling that to 50s beatniks. Story 77. They are not taking care of their teeth and gums. Floss motherfuckers. Story 78. People pleasing. Do not do things for others out of fear they will hate you. You have no control over how anyone responds to you, rightly or wrongly. Running away from your feelings will only hurt you and affect the people you love, especially if you have children. Getting fillers and injecting substances into your face is not necessary. I remember how naturally plump my face was in my 20s. While I miss being young, I am okay with the fact that my face tells many stories. As mentioned before, wear sunscreen. Future you will be grateful, and that is probably why I feel fine about getting older. Story 79. Take care of your body. I have been playing hockey for a long time, and in my 20s I would bounce back, which made me feel invincible. I am 41 now, and not only does recovery take a lot longer, but old injuries have come back to haunt me. Story 80. You're back. Be kind to it. You do not realize all the ways in which it supports you until it is too late. Bending over, standing, sitting, kneeling, twisting, and pulling are everyday tasks that can become a challenge. Story 81. Take care of your teeth and your hearing. Exercise and make it a habit. You are replaceable to all employers. Make your employer replaceable. Life is about collecting good memories, so cultivate them. Do not waste your life sitting around on your phone, playing video games, or binge-watching television. You will remember none of those things in the end. Story 82. Start working out. Seriously, you have to do a little every day. Lift weights 3 times per week, eat healthy, and do cardiovascular exercise every day. If you do not, you will have all manner of aches, pains, medical issues, and so on. You will be tired all the time, have low energy, and even be unable to enjoy things and more prone to boredom. Furthermore, you will slowly gain fat, which will create additional problems. Nature does not care how much you like eating sweets, how much you did not feel like working out, or how many justifications you have for avoiding exercise and eating poorly. If you do not do these things, there will be consequences. Do your exercises. Excuses and reasons not to are irrelevant. You either exercise and eat right or you suffer. Story 83. I was in the best shape I had ever been in when I was 40, in mind, body, spirit, and appearance. I took great care of myself in my 30s. I swam and ran, so my 40s were good. That has continued into my 60s and will continue into my 70s. Story 84. Eating poor quality food and not using personal protective equipment when working around hazardous products is dangerous. This includes cleaning solvents, hyperticulate environments, and even bleach in the bathroom. Continuous exposure over time causes harm. The primary issues are poor diet and lack of exercise. Letting yourself go physically harms both mental and physical health and is one of the worst life choices you can make. Story 85. Visit the dentist regularly. Use a moisturizer regularly. Apply sunscreen. Unhealthy eating habits will catch up with you. Start exercising. It does not have to be excessive. Begin developing healthy habits. Story 86. Take care of your teeth. That means flossing. You will regret it if you do not. Do not be sedentary. You were born to briefly inhabit this world, so actively take your fair share of it. Save your money. Things are not as valuable as experiences. Be humble. Swallow your pride. It will feed your soul. Keep the secrets you are told, and never badmouth others behind their backs. Even your enemies will recognize your character. Learn from the mistakes of others, and listen to those who went before you. Read often. Pay attention to what people do compared to what they say. It will teach you whom to trust. Be loyal, but never confuse loyalty with subservience. Do these things and you will find the truth in this final piece of advice. There is freedom in discipline. Story 87. To those young women in their early 20s who think it's thrilling and funny to date and be in a relationship with a significantly older man. Daddy issues, I get you. It's okay, sis. It comes to a glaring halt. It becomes gross. I've learned the hard way that couples are meant to grow old together. The aging process is meant to be shared, creating empathy and compassion when partners age together. Big age gaps reveal horrifying truths about aging that the younger person is not yet prepared to experience, nor should they. There is a season for everything in due time. The older person often takes full advantage of their significant other's youth and vitality, turning them into a caregiver far beyond their time. Daddy becomes grandpa in the blink of an eye, and you look over and see your man balancing a bowl of ice cream on his belly, moaning about every new ache and pain like a tiny, girly baby. Story 88. You stop laughing at the funny old man who is always right about the weather because his knee aches. Story 89. 4 things have gotten me to 47 years old. 1. Spending very little time in the sun. 2. Avoiding smoking. 3. Limiting alcohol intake. 4. Engaging in frequent sexual activity. Story 90. Worrying about small matters takes attention away from what is truly important. Story 91. A broken bone that likely did not heal correctly because you walked on it too soon will become painful after a few decades. Story 92. Develop stress management and conflict resolution skills. Watch online videos and practice techniques to stay calm and rational when situations or other people are not. Story 93. I was obese for most of my life. As I got older, I became more prone to chronic diseases such as diabetes, gallbladder disease, liver disease, and heart disease. Story 94. Everything you are doing now is incredibly embarrassing to older people and will be embarrassing to you later. This is why people often speak harshly about younger people. We either grow up and become wiser or we never grow up at all. Story 95. It is better to cancel the wedding than to deal with the divorce. I have seen this with multiple friends. Compound interest is a powerful force. Save for the future while living in the present. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.